Greetings from the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you spend a pleasant day with your loved ones. We will hear a fascinating tale about a boy and a girl in today's lecture. I hope you find some time to unwind after reading the story. Remember to support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing to it. Now, let's examine the story's primary theme together. The newest airport is where the plane just touched down. Excited and anxious, Kwon peered out the window. You had just arrived in Saigon, a brand new city full of obstacles where you would begin a new chapter in your life. Kwon noticed his two uncles waiting outside the airport gate. "Hi, how are you?" Uncle Hai said. Kwon got into the waiting taxi. Uncle Hai took a seat beside him and began to speak. "You've never been here before, correct?" "Yes, I have never been to Saigon before." Uncle Hai gave a courteous smile. "I was told by your parents. Come look for a job here. There is a lot of work for me. Try something if you enjoy doing it. If not, look for another job. It's all right, yes, I will make an effort." The thought of the days ahead calmed Long as he looked out the window. The times when you'll start a new life in a large city. Kwon has made the decision to live on his own, but you are aware that Uncle Hai and Uncle Ba will prepare your meals. Uncle Hai was a little taken aback when I said, "I will rent an apartment. Come on, spend a few days at my house while you hunt for a job and a place to live." "Sure, I'll ask you for a few days if that's the case." "What is your age, then?" "My age is 25. 25 years old. That's quick, I see. You were a young girl when I first arrived in the north. Do you have a partner, then?" Feeling a little ashamed, Kwon remained silent. "I don't currently have one, yes, so, if you're looking for someone to love, come on in. Don't be timid." Kwon simply grinned and assumed that everything would work itself out. A new relationship is still not something you're ready for. But who knows? Saigon might open up new career and romantic opportunities for you. He took me to the apartment a few days later. The flat had 6 bedrooms. The first floor was Kwon's room. Near the owner's quarters. You've been residing there for how long? I'm not sure, but it's anticipated to take 6 months. I therefore gave her 3 months to cover the rent. The owner had a good appearance. Deep is her name. She had a fairly balanced personality and appeared to be quite young. Smooth lines, pointed eyebrows, silver hair, and twisted double eyelids were all still present on her face. She didn't appear aged at all. She only dressed normally. Very easy, an outfit that some women still wore. She appeared to have returned to her true age as a result. 52-year-old woman. Kwon's life steadied out over time. He left for work in the morning. He returned home in the evening. He only stayed in his room on the weekends. There were no friends for him here. His 2 uncles only paid him a few visits. Nothing seemed to be able to bring him joy. It took 2 weeks for a new city. Although it was quick, nobody seemed to be interested in it, until he went to work one day. Kwon entered. "This is what she requested," the owner yelled. "What's wrong, miss?" "In order to partially remove the carpet, I would like to borrow this table for a short time." After saying that, she drew it down. She attempted to remove the carpet. He watched from below. She continued to shake it in front of his eyes. Repeating the shaking motion, a big shirt was also present. He couldn't see it well, so he asked who it was. Only one, he could only see in this case. Since when he had a reaction, he was unaware. But Kwon is at a loss for what to do now, because the table is in his hands. Then she raised her head. He appeared to be staring at himself. After that, she glanced down at his trousers. In embarrassment, Kwon turned his face away. Lean got up and told him to put down the table after she had removed the carpet. "All right, thanks. Take a seat here and take a short break. I have been here for a long time." "Yes, what do you think, then?" "Having to do everything myself made the first few days challenging. I'm accustomed to it now, though. It's also excellent. I don't have any grievances." "It's good if that's true. But I'm the only one here, where is he now? He's not sure. He might be in a pub or something. After she gave birth to his child, he left her. That's terrible. That's how all men are in this world. They play and then go. For this reason, she always advised her daughter to wait until the wedding. That is not how the child will be. I have no doubt that you will take responsibility for the person you have the ability to conceive. When you first started AI, why didn't you say that? You simply walked away when it happened. So, have you ever been in a relationship? Have you ever taken any action? Then. That's it, then. Have you ever been in a relationship? You've never smelled Asian at the age of 25, that's what I also want to do. I don't have a girlfriend, though. I'm scared of getting sick now, I have thus been waiting until now. She is still young, so stop acting that way. Play with yourself, please, if not, you'll come to regret it in old age. You want this, but AI can't do that. You said that, but why? You're still young, in my opinion, do you want anything else? An ugly old lady like me is not what AI wants. You say that repeatedly. You're still bored, I believe, all I want is a girl later. Similar to you. I'm sorry, but you seem like a woman to me, an extremely respectable woman. You don't get married to another AI despite having an affair. In addition to your current attractiveness, you are most likely older than 30, your wife would undoubtedly be just as attractive as you at this age if you had one. I wish your wife was your age without losing your youthful appearance. That would be fantastic. Do you need anything else from me? Do you need anything else from me? That is untrue. I simply assumed you were older than 30 on the day I met her. You cast your gaze downward, tears were streaming down your face. I'm worried, I'm not sure what I said incorrectly. I hurried over to you, I genuinely believed you to be that way. I prepared a meal for you to eat later. As though you were grateful for my assistance, but when you visit Italy, make sure to pick a time when AI isn't present. Why is that? It's because you invite me to eat that way by nature. They claim it's heaven, but the others are aware of it. Where do you get your food from when those guys come to grovel for it? Yes, I do comprehend. So you start by using the restroom. I stop by the neighborhood after using the restroom, no one enters, they head straight to the owner's room. You then take a seat here to eat. To eat, you sit beside me, I then prepared a meal for you. You were dressed differently at this time. You exposed your white legs by wearing a short dress, you wore a 2-second shirt on top of that. Did you prepare a tasty meal? Did you like it? It was delicious, the proprietor inquired. If it tastes good, eat a lot to get stronger. I remained quiet for a long time. I said, thank you for helping me today, after finishing all 3 meals. It isn't anything, I assist you in calling me whenever I have work. I do everything I do for you. So, thank you ahead of time, my parents weren't as good as you since I was a kid. However, you abandoned them. That bad guy said your face started to well up with tears, quit being depressed. I'll replace that bad guy to look after you as long as I'm here. Those were the words I heard, I'm at a loss for words. I gave you a hug. You had such soft hair. Breathing was extremely difficult. I was really attractive. Due to the emotions I just experienced, it was just as it had been in the morning. I apologize for being so sentimental. It isn't anything, this is how it has always been. Someone used to live with me, a girl. She must now live close to the school because she is a college student, thus, the house is always just you. You need someone to be with you when you're lonely, but you don't have anyone. Your AI is superior to that of the other tenants, including the one who vacated. Did you say anything else? Ms. Deep's trembling hand was in your grasp. She remarked on how soft your hand was. She moved closer to you by leaning forward. She gave your eyes her full attention. Are you fond of me? Yes, I did say something this morning. All of the statements were accurate, Ms. Deep grinned broadly. She drew herself toward you. Her breath was so close you could feel it. That's something I've never done. What were you saying? As I previously stated, I have no experience with AI. Would you like me to halt you? Your recent statement truly caught me off guard. You are at a loss for words. Ms. Deep retreated when she noticed your attitude. I apologize. Simply disregard what you just said. As though you haven't spoken. An ugly old lady like this is the same as AI. Ms. Deep didn't say that when you saw her holding your hand. When you saw AI, you looked so beautiful. However, I was terrified of becoming ill and that I knew nothing about that. Do not be concerned. You've been away from AI for a long time. Tomorrow, if your insecurity persists, let's visit the doctor. Ms. Deep has told me that a lot. You've calmed down considerably. So, if nothing comes up, we'll be together when you go to work tomorrow. I'll tell you how much of your youth you've wasted, and I'll compensate you. So please, teach me. I'll give you excellent instruction. Now, return home and rest. Tomorrow, we're going to the lab. After that, you won't need to worry. Be cautious when you return home. It's not good if they know you're here. I am aware. I requested a day off the following morning. To get to the hospital, I took a taxi. After some time, Ms. Deep accompanied her in a different vehicle. We spent a few hours at the lab after meeting at the hospital. The outcome was clear in the end. Both of them were typical, both of them were in good health. Nothing was amiss. So you can feel secure. Ms. Deep claimed she was at a loss for words. Her heart was burning fiercely. What's the matter? She repeated her question. I was debating whether we should head to the lab or home. Each day I requested a day off. Return home, you have a lot of things to learn. I'll go slowly with you. You were seen and heard by Ms. Deep, you were becoming more attractive. Now head home. Later, I'll visit the market, there's no rush. There is still plenty of time. Save it for tonight, please. According to Ms. Deep, she returned to her room after leaving the hospital. She switched on her phone and started watching a movie. She had the impression that she was in the film. A loud sound came from outside. She was awakened by an AI. She quickly left the room and left. Even though she wasn't attractive, she referred to you as a 30-year-old woman. With haste, she left the room. Because her green shirt represented the industry she worked in, she appeared to be an employee. What took place? Is the proprietor present? Where had she disappeared to? What brought her here? She came to rent a room here. She must be returning. She entered your room and took a sip of water. She entered your room. You've been here for how long? I've spent 2 weeks here. How is life in this place? It's good, everything here is becoming accustomed to me. What about this location? Is something wrong? What's going on with the owner? What is the price of a room? It's good, she said. It's a well-owned establishment. I should have informed her of the cost right away. Yes, you mentioned that, and since I recently moved here, I'm relieved. Where did you previously reside? Bin Duong was where I used to work. We are currently on leave because they are laying off employees. I came here to apply for a job because I wanted to introduce a friend. Where do you currently reside? My hometown is Hanoi. Does anyone with that price tag live in Hanoi? Have you ever been in love? No, I haven't. Why not? I'm sure you have a few, too. Please don't say that, I'm embarrassed. What is there to feel guilty about? You ought to follow your uncle since you're still young. Have you ever been married? I have 2 more children and a husband back home. The landlady has returned. Let's discuss this later. I like you. She gave me a weird look, as if she were observing you this morning. What's your name, please? Gwyn is my name. If you can, please assist me. Then Gwyn departed, abandoning me. When I saw her angry expression, I was still out of breath. Is this the initial instance? I made sure to check to see if anyone else was in Deep's room when I first opened it. I then locked the door after closing it. I said nothing at all. You rushed to Deep's location. I've been thinking of you by our side since yesterday. You assist me in leaving. Additionally, Deep is moving. Since yesterday, she has been on fire. It has been a while. The scent of the man is returning to me. The scent of a young man who has never experienced life's scent. It has a delicious flavor. You pick things up quickly. Even though you don't teach much. You eventually get used to it. It's because your teacher is good. You have my undying love. Can you now be like this every day? As long as you don't gripe about my appearance, so long as you desire it to be that way each and every day. You can act ugly, it's all right. But you have my undying love, you have my undying love. There is no one more beautiful than you. In my heart, you are the most beautiful person, so stay with me from now on. I'll then give it to you whenever you'd like. Every time you leave for work, I'll make you dinner, I'll look after you like a mother would. As well as a wife. Don't say that, please, the future is still in front of me. I can only have you for a short time. In the future, I want you to achieve what women desire. This elderly woman is not the same age as it. Therefore, don't consider me to be your wife. That is not what I want. Why don't you raise me if you consider me to be your mother? Ms. Deep doesn't take issue with Kwan's remarks. You know, too. You have been accepted as a child by Ms. Deep, but even after what just transpired, I continue to sense that something is amiss. I sense Ms. Deep's tense expression. I said something incorrectly once more. My hand is in yours. Don't think too much, Mom. We aren't true moms. In addition, how many of us are with the elderly women who are referred to as mothers? Thus, there is nothing for you to be concerned about. Simply move in with me. You can hear how many words. You have a slightly shaky face, so sit here and wait while I clean up the rice and wash my face a little. The rice is actually cold. Return to the peaceful house and have a bath, the remainder is washed away. You make food for tomorrow's work after spending time with the elderly women. At last, you fall asleep. Women's voices can be heard somewhere in your ear during that silent night. You must be thrilled about the weekend date that Ms. Deep just brought up. However, this sound is unmistakable. I can even clearly hear every voice. The first is Ms. Gwyn's voice. That's certainly the case, because, as I mentioned, there are 6 floors in this apartment. When 2 floors are divided, 3 floors are above and 3 floors below. The apartment and the master bedroom are constructed independently. In contrast, the upper room is empty. So, the only room next to you is this one. Ms. Gwyn just rented the room. You open the door slowly. Leaving your room, you glance to the side. It's accurate, the shoe of an odd man is in front of the door. This apartment is definitely not the place for her. In front of you are 2 more rooms, one of them is a young carpenter. However, he typically stays at work until the following morning. He also appears to be quite young, therefore, this other man's shoe cannot be his. Not in the other room. Because 2 unproductive husbands and wives own it. You glance at the 2 individuals without AI in their room. Perhaps they have vanished. There is only your room in this apartment. Additionally, someone is in Ms. Gwyn's room. As the noise level increases, you drag Ms. Gwyn back to her room. You shout while raising your hand to the pillar. Right now, it is all in your hands. You picture the scene where Ms. Gwyn is with a man. Oddly, Ms. Gwyn makes no mention of having a husband in her hometown. That man is AI, then. It's none of your business, but you don't know. However, you are unaware of how long the picture of the man with Ms. Gwyn has been replaying in your mind. You begin to envision what might emerge from beyond the wall. He takes half an hour to get to sleep. It is never good. When you first wake up the following morning, you head to Ms. Gwyn's room. The other men's shoes are gone. Since when has the door been locked? You no longer notice it. You arrive at work promptly. You go to Ms. Gwyn's room in the afternoon. The door is still locked, as you can see. Also Ms. Gwyn's room. To get ready for his night shift, only one young man is cooking. After 2 days of eating at home, you discover when you open the door that you haven't purchased any food. After stealing your cash to lock the door, Ms. Deep dashes to the market to buy food. You see a man carrying Ms. Gwyn home as she emerges. He appears to be uncomfortable. As you can see, you see Kwan's eyes staring at you in that manner. It appears that Ms. Gwyn comprehends everything. She bids the other man farewell and carries his belongings to the market slowly. She smiles enigmatically as she walks by. Your husband is that man. When you inquired, Ms. Gwyn turned her head and gave you a long, silent look before responding, "That's not my colleague. My husband came here to play, so I assumed. Because I noticed your shoes in front of the door yesterday. When I heard that, I was taken aback." Her joyful expression abruptly changed. Her smile vanished and reappeared a few seconds later. I witnessed it. I believe there was no AI at the time. You don't need to know much. Young man, the other man said in a whisper as he approached him and held his ear, "It doesn't matter that he is AI. My husband could be you. You are welcome to work with me, similar to our mistress." The mother and the mistress. You appear to be standing in front of what I said. You still attempt to avoid it, though. Do you believe that the mother and mistress are a bit too much? For me, a bit too much. I'm sure not for the children, though. I could clearly hear the AI phoning the mother and son. The two of them then gave each other a hug last night. In a peculiar manner, you only happen to know because of that. You know what you were doing yesterday, don't you? And since last night. You may have heard it all. You mean my room? That isn't how I yell. I'll have to wait for everyone to leave if this house is still occupied. However, I naturally saw and heard the images while I was observing the mistress's actions. The two of them exchanged some really intriguing words. I listened to everything Ms. Gwyn said. You simply need to remain motionless for a while. However, there is no more blood, and the heat has vanished. Sweat on the sun is equivalent to a bath. You need not be so tense. We are all alike. Everyone needs someone to let go of. Like my closest friend by my side. I won't judge you, then, and I'm hoping the same for you. AI is concerned about that individual in our story. Therefore, avoid AI to AI. Think of this as a private matter between us. Is it feasible? With the mistress, you will still act like mother and son. And my romantic relationship will continue. I nodded as I turned to face Ms. Gwyn. Excellent, my beloved brother. I like you. Come on over and eat with me if you don't mind. However, I must admit that there is only one typical meal served here. I don't treat you like a son and mother would. Yesterday, we completed it. How can people do that, I wonder? It's repulsive. For what reason are you waiting? Come here and take a shower. I got home earlier. My mother arrived home earlier. I assured her that I would buy her dinner today. It's acceptable to adjust to it. Don't forget to mention that you only consume typical meals. My mother felt envious. Turn around and go, she said. I'm still not as good as I once was, so leave me alone. I'll just sit around like I'm at home the next time. What are you doing? It's not the same as smiling. I always blush when I see you. Do I appear cute? No, you don't. I'm blushing because of you. It is you who brings me joy. Now people can hear you. All right, I'll stop arguing with you. Help me out with the rice cooker. Please. I'll follow your instructions. You sit down and place the rice cooker on the floor. I'll take a seat as well. Like many women, I am dressed in tight clothing today. However, my shirt can be tight at times. How much time has passed? I requested it from the cook. You two just had a conversation and ate. It's fresh. Also, your shirt is tight. You like young girls only. Usually, the only reason to date an elderly woman is financial gain. What does she give you, then? I don't think so. It's all right. Tell me the truth, please. I'll keep it a secret. It isn't accurate. She gives you money, then? I'm not sure. However, Miss Deep told me that she would raise you. That is not required of you. That doesn't concern me. You and I are alike. That's all that matters to you, that is not necessary for girls. Just the other day, I told you. It isn't accurate, I don't think so. You're assuming too much about me. You don't appear to be an elderly woman, you told me the other day that you appear to be two different people. You don't often look like that at that age. I'd like to be her age, I still look that way, though. I believe I'm attractive. Perhaps I'm more attractive than her at her age. This man isn't very attractive. How can you claim that you lack artificial intelligence? Lover. You don't want an AI because you haven't earned enough money. What's the point, God forbid? Love is irrelevant. Money is irrelevant, you must feel uneasy about not having an AI. You mean girl? You must date her because of this. It appears that Quan has taken care of you. I learned how to teach AI from you as well. That's what makes you so special, so you don't think twice. You want to try it since you haven't done it before. That attractive guy is the owner of this Abaza. It's cozy, there is nothing for you to be concerned about. You see Chim approaching her. You then meet Quan's eyes. When Chim shows up, you feel ashamed in front of her. However, you are unable to look away from her. Do you like me? She asked. She then turned to face you, you remained quiet for a while. You were afraid to meet Quan's eyes. However, your lips appeared to want to greet Chim in front of her eyes, you really enjoy it, so of course you want to. Perhaps you wouldn't have had to consider it after that sentence if it weren't for the door in front of your eyes opening. However, you were about to say it at this precise moment, you were at a loss for words. I'm just kidding, Chim said. Your co-worker will arrive shortly, additionally, you ought to let that girl handle it. You look at me like that's sufficient today. Don't assume I'm ignorant, I am somewhat inebriated from now on. However, it's all right. You can gaze at me with ease, take a deep breath this time. I'll tell you. That's excellent, however, you shouldn't be a little bit if you get involved. These people are only there to meet your needs. You will leave it there once you have seen enough, however, there is nothing you can do if you just jump right in. You might even become more ill. It won't get better anytime soon, I can still guard one person. But how can I manage meeting 5 or 6 people at once? I want to be faithful to my husband as well. However, your spouse has a lengthy debt history, is AI wealthy enough to employ a young man? You are a great blessing to Mrs. Deep. People will definitely crave it if you don't give it to anyone else. She is aware, however, that I invited you in this way, she might be jealous, but I'm not sure. No, I also don't know. I didn't say anything to her just now to allay anyone's suspicions. But she also remained silent. You still need to explain it to her. Women often keep it in their stomachs even though they don't express it. I left the door open over there, so don't worry. She caught sight of it. She is also aware that my sister only consumes everyday meals. I walked to the room's corner. I pulled out a bottle of medication and an open box. I still have 2 bottles, after taking it, I cut it and discarded it. I turned around and handed it to you after that. I've got a present for you here, I challenged my colleague to skip today's event. I must have severed her hand. However, why did you take these 2 medication bottles? What sort of drug is this? This medication causes weight gain. This medication was taken by my colleague. She has buffalo-level health. She doesn't require it because she is still young, however, she ought to have only taken 1 bottle for the first time. My sister gave me a gift a few hours ago. I appreciate all of your kindness toward me, I like you. I'm not skilled in any way. However, assisting others is only a short-term solution, our relationship is good. I am also aware of how long you have liked me. He must have been considering you ever since he took a slow look at you, is that correct? I remained silent. She is the reason you have a black heart. You're able to laugh. Then, shortly thereafter, I awoke. After taking a bath together, we all went to the room. As though it were a test trip, we departed the hotel. After visiting the parking lot, we proceeded to the market and returned. We took that action to dispel any doubts. We returned to the parking lot just now. I washed my clothes in front of the gate, and you saw it. How are you? What makes you appear to be a pervert? She made fun of me. Today, I will not be going to work. Don't you like it too much? It is Sunday today. What are you doing? I'm joking. You guys are a little excessive. You appear to be a pervert. I own a little bird. I'm scared to administer medication to you. I'm unable to stop. I can finally say that I love Gwyn as much as a friend. It's not just a friendship. It's not just a friendship, though. Even though it's only for solving problems, a relationship between two people may be a little more than friendship, but it can't be referred to as love. Because I adore my wife, I am aware of that. I am also aware of Gwyn's deep love for her husband. We are unable to move on to love as a result. Gwyn and I might be able to move on to love and pursue other goals together, like starting a family, if we hadn't previously been married. He found a spot to sit down and approached the window so he could put a pill in his mouth. Perhaps this is where our fate can only arrive. Perhaps this is where our fate can only arrive. Gwyn and I are, therefore, a couple from a past life. The purpose of this life is simply to settle our debts to one another. Like the smoke from the pill he threw into the air, he managed to say it slowly. For some reason, God cut me off from Gwyn after we settled our debt. Until then, please look after Gwyn as you currently do if you were still with her. I'm not sure why, but you have my trust. You don't want her to have to go out with other men, at least. Let's not discuss this, though. She's not feeling well. She left the market early the following morning and headed home. She told me over the phone before she left that she should not call me at all if there was nothing urgent while she was away. In the countryside, people will be wary. From that crazy day to the third day, it could take up to 2 days for her body to recover. You want to talk to her so badly, of course. You no longer have her, though. I recall your previous statement. You didn't know what it meant the day before. Did the three of you do it at the same time, or did he give you Gwyn? However, you later had a change of heart. You said that because you believed it to be incorrect. It's been like a picture ever since Gwyn visited here 3 times a week. He comes here to spend time with Gwyn on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. However, he didn't see you here on Monday. He didn't see you coming, not even today. You opened the door to Gwyn's room before going to bed. Her shoes were not visible to you. You approached her room. You heard something all of a sudden. You returned to your comfortable bed. You had an odd feeling. Perhaps he was crossing the room, but he was unaware of it. He lay on the ground. You thought you were burning. Sweat started to trickle down your brow. You discovered the front door of the house next door was outside the window when you opened it. You thought of something. To find a pen, you ventured into the forest. You then took the pen out of the trash can. Outside, the window is now open. You step outside. The railing below is where you place your feet. Due to its straight line attachment from the dustbin, it is easily visible. Abruptly, you noticed Gwyn's room door. You were the only one inside, as you had guessed. No other men were visible to you. A woman in a bad mood was a young man in front of you. It was the voice of Gwyn. But it was a while before you saw him. The flashlight was behind the house. The sounds appeared to have been heard by someone. This house was the source of the sound. If you couldn't find him, that made you run back to your room. However, it's too late. Despite the fact that the house's owner was unaware that a man had seen you before departing. The alternative AI was Gwyn. Ms. Gwyn emerged from her room the following morning and prepared to leave for work. Ms. Gwyn was standing there drying her clothes when she suddenly noticed her. They exchanged astonished glances with one another. When Ms. Gwyn noticed that, she went up to her and inquired, "Did you have a good night's sleep?" Yes, as usual, Miss So, did you notice that I didn't get a good night's sleep? A lot of people knocked on the door. Were you aware of that? Indeed. I did. There were lots of rustling sounds. This mouse is a little large, so it must be that one. Miss It continued to stand at your window and gaze inside. Isn't that conceited? You must feed it enough when you catch it. Don't do it again, Miss. I don't have any issues. But it's risky if you do that kind of climbing on someone else's roof. What happens if it falls? Not to mention acting in a way that they respect. They have a hard time catching them. It's been a few days since I last saw you. I wanted to know. I heard your voice as I opened the door. I also assumed you were unaware. I returned to the open space. To cool it down, I opened the door. The machine was directly in front of the window. Your room is connected to it. Since you're new, you ought to visit and check for AI. Are you concerned about your butt as well? Or do you feel envious? Ms. Gwyn gave you a smile. Why must you be so tense? I don't hold it against you. I'm trying to find a job. I am only able to attend on the weekends. Would you prefer a short-term substitute? I'm joking. Do not believe it to be true. You claimed to agree. It's something I truly desire. I seem to be stiff. I am at a loss for words. I can give you the entire night now. However, there is a requirement. What state? You are required to share a bed with Lynn. What's the matter with Lynn? This makes her miserable in my opinion. How much time has passed? For her husband. She kept it. I therefore occasionally feel afraid and alone around her. I feel like I'm really annoyed. I can't always get rid of it. I'm asking you because of this. I'll do what I can while that old lady isn't here. I'll entrust you with this important duty. You two can stay together indefinitely. I'll give it to you if you can do that. Only the two of us, only the two of us. You wanted to say something the other day, but I forgot. I must also remind you, AI to help girls remember that. What time is the wedding? By the end of this week, I'll be there. Take any action you can, for Lynn to accompany you. I don't want this to cause her to be unhappy. Youth flies. I'm going to dry my clothes now. I'm going to work after that. You also don't remain here, act quickly. You will be late if you go to work. Get up, I'll start by going to work. Farewell. Return to the silent room, following a demanding workday. What Gwyn told me this morning is unbelievable. That's the reality. She desires that you meet Lynn. For you, everything is so simple. However, while you're in Hanoi, family life. Your chances are limited. But to socialize, a 25-year-old man is thus made. But are still unaware of women's sense. Until you spend a few weeks out of their arms, the following day. I immediately went home. Chim returned from the police station as well. Does my sister require my assistance? She asked when I opened the door. Will you be at work? I'll wait for a slight change in you. I'll go cook with my sister after that. It doesn't take long for my sister to complete a meal. Gwyn, see how you can get Lynn here. I informed her. She and I haven't met yet. How am I going to do it? What are you looking for? However, you stated that you had to assist Lynn. I informed you. I was misinterpreted by you. I hope Lynn feels less depressed. You should look after her for me. Not to accompany me. However, you must do that, alongside Lynn. Nothing is meant by that. Nevertheless, now, however. Her face is not even visible to me. How can I look after her? Lynn and I have only met once, and now. Team has contacted me. I'll look after her until she goes. I'm not sure, therefore. Lynn can be looked after by me. Thus, however. If Lynn requires it. I will do my best to look after her, even the two of us. I will attempt self-sacrifice, for us both. All right. All right, one day, I'll invite Lynn to hang out. Whatever you do, I'll do it. Not too much, though, I'm aware it's insufficient. However, in this manner. I'm not sure if it's appropriate, allowing her to continue on this course. It's not at all good. Allowing her to live alone indefinitely, it's also not good. Thus, let me speak with her, if she is truly unwilling to feel guilty in front of her husband. Whatever you say. Even if it is overly restricted. It still doesn't sit well with her. You're implying that you're harming her once more. If it pleases her. You're not as guilty, let's say she dislikes it at that moment. That's the issue. Not everyone shares your viewpoint, you can ask me, but she is unaware. As you take the initiative with her, accept it. Simply shut your eyes, as though nothing is to be done. All right. This ghost, here, what do you learn? What a bunch of bullshit. The final time I returned home after supper. Alongside Gwyn, almost a week has passed. But from now on, where is Deep? Gwyn is not feeling well. Even Lynn, you have no information at this time. Switch the phone on. By some impromptu action, which you are unable to control. Immediately thereafter. A call to Deep's phone number. Hi there. It's Deep. I'm speaking on the phone, Mom. Please don't call me, I said. However, I've been gone for a while, I'm attempting to endure it. I'm not strong. I still can't go home, I'm going to bed. You are no longer important to me. You don't need to give a damn about me, I need to worry about someone. I just called to let you know. I don't give a damn, all right. Don't you want to do that? I want to make it up to you. The young man was awakened by the scent of the medication the following morning. The smell of the medicine emanated from the woman lying beside him, Lynn alone, and he heard her sobbing after a night of guilt. Lynn said, I apologize, I was intoxicated yesterday. He felt bad and turned to place his hand on her shoulder. Lynn said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Because I think you're so beautiful. Kwon said softly, but she shook his hand to one side. However, I don't recall anything while intoxicated. I apologize, please don't speak any more, I can't leave you like this. He dressed and walked away. Please leave me alone now, Lynn got up and said, I'm not at ease. It's not because of me, I apologize. Please remain here. I truly apologize, even if the black community or artificial intelligence, AI, comes to punish you, I'm free to do it however I see fit. I'm even willing to call the police or another I accept it, too. You don't need to say anything more. Get dressed and go, even if this hasn't occurred, you remain alone in this state, and we won't see each other again, it's not my business, I'm not at ease, and you don't need to say that after doing that to me. Is it possible? In a panic, Kwon Lin rushed to me and exclaimed, oh my God, I've asked you hundreds and thousands of times. How can I face my husband if you do that to me? I just want to leave now, don't do that. I heard Lin say that, and it's because you taught me that I was mistaken, I was relieved. You got out of bed and undressed, but you were summoned back, I am aware that AI cannot possibly know this. Not even the bird. I went to the toy store and slept there after saying, I took you home yesterday. When I left, I realized that I couldn't let AI see, I opened the door quietly after saying, yes, I know. You looked around after you were certain there was no AI, you just went outside and shut the door. Since it's Sunday, people stay at home instead of going to work at night. Luckily, it's still early in the morning, so nobody has woken up yet, take a long walk outside the street. The young man's thoughts and internal worries haven't left you yet. What are you afraid of? That woman feels so bad about her husband, just remembered a story, so he hurried back and asked. So you do that. Stop, and then return. Go to a place that looks like it has a pharmacy. I was a little bored with my girlfriend yesterday, so I didn't have time to prepare, so he added more reasons later. Sister, give me some medicine. What medicine did you buy for me? An emergency pill. I get it. What kind would you like to purchase? I've never purchased it either, so I'm not sure. Last night? Okay, I'll give you the best kind. This is mine. I avoided a few people in that area, paid for my sister, and then brought the medication back to Lynn's room, stopping along the way to buy another loaf of bread. Getting to my sister's room was really tough, and I was very perplexed when I knocked on the door for a long time without hearing a response. I pushed the door open without hesitation because I was afraid of the situation Lynn was in, and I noticed that she had just changed her clothes and taken a bath. I was worried. So I told her that she had gone out to eat just as she was about to leave and opened the door again. I was scared. I know how to be scared. Why didn't you consider the repercussions before acting? Yes, I was mistaken. At this point, Lynn was able to relax. I'm at a loss for words, but I have to accept that men like men only hurt women. I'm standing in front of a woman he himself hurt, and I had to make myself listen to the worst things that have been said to me since Nam first came to this and the other things in an easy way, to the point where he even thought AI was the same. He knelt down and slammed his head against the floor, saying, I was wrong and I could do whatever I wanted. Lynn swiftly assisted the young man in getting to his feet because the door was still open. It wouldn't be good at all if that AI saw this scene. Just get up, I won't do anything. But you must remember not to do that the next time. I'll stand up if the woman stops letting it go, but you must also swear to me that you won't do anything. All right, I'll stand up, I said it, and this time I stood up as well, following Lynn's strength. All right, but what's wrong with you? I was perfectly healthy the last time I checked. I'll reimburse you if you don't believe me. All right, fortunately it's you go home now. I don't know how it would be if it had been someone else who was ill. This is also a lesson for you to better protect yourself. What are you waiting for? Bring out the loaf of bread and the pack of medication I just bought for you. Is that medication? I'm not sure what to get, so I mentioned yesterday that I didn't have time to get ready because I had a little too much to do with my girlfriend. Then tell them to give me the best type. I hope you'll accept it. I also bought a little more light. I gave it with both hands this time. Ms. Lynn appeared to have realized her error, and she no longer blamed that guy. He handed her a pack of medicine and a loaf of bread, and she said, all right, I take it. You go home. I recognize Lynn's face. It appears to be more upbeat than before, so don't worry and head back down the well-known alley. Ms. Gwynn was sitting in the closet next to him at the time, and she hurried out when she saw him. How is it? She answered Ms. Gwynn's question with a deep breath, and her brain trembled. She pursued the question, why don't you tell me, because she was curious. I'm confused. I did that to Ms. Lynn yesterday, but she woke up this morning and refused to accept it. Well, whatever, she's still hungry, and I can feed her. I apologized to Ms. Gwynn and hurried her home after she became alarmed upon hearing that. Oh my God. I had hurt her. I was worried on the way home, so I returned. Why don't you stop like that? I stopped by to buy Ms. Yi some medication and a loaf of bread, but she was still in her cell when I arrived. I knocked, but no one answered, so I ran in. Well, whatever. Luckily, she did nothing, too busy showering and getting dressed to open the door for me. After I knelt down and pleaded with her, she told me not to do that and to change it again if the other person didn't permit it. She said she had promised not to do anything foolish, and she held her breath for an hour when I arrived. I also made her promise not to do anything foolish. I wanted to help her, so of course I felt bad for her. Hey, who would have guessed it would end that way? Oh, I'm exhausted. You should stop showing up in front of her because what happened earlier was too much for you, and I suppose Lynn doesn't want to see you anymore. This should be the end of it. I'll ask her how she's doing. Are you crazy? I feel like I told you everything when I called. Oh, just accept it as normal. I'll text her a few questions later, and we can discuss it at the company tomorrow. In any case, she promised not to do anything foolish, so I returned to my room and collapsed into my comfortable bed. I can't stop thinking about what happened earlier. You opened the door to your room, and I woke up from a terrible dream as the soft Sunday afternoon sunlight streamed through the small room's window. I just finished talking to Gwen, and I could tell she was cooking right there without having to ask. I can see your face getting worse and worse, but don't worry too much. She still looked normal. It's okay, I'll see her tomorrow, but I don't feel well, it's up to you, so don't overthink it. I'll speak with her tomorrow, you shouldn't do that. Let me take full responsibility for myself instead, since I'm Lynn's best friend and you're just a new acquaintance, anything I say will only be discussed between us, anyway, you've figured it out. Don't say anything else. Alright, I'll keep quiet, don't think too much, though, because I'm exhausted and I can see your face getting worse. I'll have lunch with you later, but I'm heading to my room because I have a terrible headache. Since you got home, you've been lying on the bed and thinking about it constantly, so you must still be hot. It's really difficult, but you don't say anything because you don't know when to stop. You don't say anything, everything has already happened, and you have no idea how much you've done. You'd better check out Lynn's room, because it's pointless to say anything. I'll return to my room. Continue to reflect. At 6:30 p.m., in my well-known forest, I knocked on your room's door, but you didn't answer. I've been calling you all the time, so I'm glad you answered when my sister called. Hey, what are you doing? You got out of bed bruised after you hung up. Come down and eat lunch. Sure, I'll wait for you. I was concerned, I felt sorry for you when I saw your face, and I didn't think you had left the house. You were constantly thinking about it, and I was still concerned. How is Lynn? I texted her, and she continued to speak normally. I don't know either, but don't worry, she'll be alright. I eat to cheer her up because my head hurts the most right now and I'm so exhausted that I don't want to do anything. We haven't spoken since you ate slowly and didn't respond to my sister's question. I requested a day off the following day, citing my illness, and my sister realized she needed to give me a break. You simply remained at home. The image of what I had done was constantly playing in his mind, and his body was flooded with regret. When you look like that, how is Lynn? Have you met Lynn? I met her. Gwyn still called Quan away from home that day, and her worried face was still there when they ate together. How is she? She's still normal. Normal? Why must you act that way? It's not normal, really. She was as cool as tears when I looked into her eyes. While AI was aware that something had happened to her, she pretended to be normal. AI asked her without telling me, so what? I'm to blame, I mean, this is your fault. Stop acting that way. What should I do now? I'm at my breaking point. Tomorrow. A little later. On Sunday, I'll visit her room. Don't do that, please. What should I do now, or should I wait and see how things work out tomorrow? Will you take today off? Yes, I'm exhausted. I'll take a day off. Don't do that. I understand, tomorrow I'm going to work, then I'll rush to eat, and tomorrow will be the same, because she doesn't want to see you open the door to cook or see AI bring food. Gwyn still calls Quan's room to invite you over for lunch, although Lynn still speaks normally and her eyes are no longer red, that fake expression is completely out of character. You mentioned that you couldn't eat, so I believe I should return to work because I have some responsibility in this. I'm under a lot of pressure, too, so what do you want me to do now? Although I see you that way, Lynn is much more than that, and I doubt she realizes it's because you like me. So I'm really happy. Or what? I just want to be friends with you too. Please let me take the blame for everything. Quan eats rapidly after that. Or you visit her later, but not now. Gwyn rushes after the barrier, but it's too late, and he quickly runs out after putting a few pieces of rice in his mouth, pulling the car directly to Lynn's room. Quan knocks on the door, which is still locked. Lynn opened the door quickly. What are you doing here? Gwyn mentioned that you haven't been feeling well for a few days. You still can't forgive me, can you? Tell me what I need to do for you now. I can make you do anything, even force you to do it, so tell me what I need to do. Lynn glances around. Then quickly stops talking and yanks this guy, Yen, into the room. You want to tell me about this whole mess, so tell me. What can I do to help you return to normal? Do nothing, return to your room, please, and don't ever come here again, but it's all because of you, so you can't abandon me like that. It's all my fault. Just go home. I don't want to hold you responsible for anything. I'll do everything for you, though, so go home and never let me see your face again if you want me to return to normal. Quan has no choice but to say, you have to go back, as Lin shoves him out the door and shuts it behind him. Simply return to the location where Gwen has been waiting for you. It appears that she can tell what happened just by looking at your face, so you two have stopped communicating. In the hopes of forgetting his transgression, Kwon hastily heads back to his room and then dashes off to work. Apart from being the protagonist, Kwon also spends time increasing the police when necessary. And he uses the money he makes to buy food. After nearly 6 months of hiding, Tan has made 2 trips back to his hometown to see his sister and parents. People accept Kwon's parents and sister when he has a small amount of money. But when it comes to money, they definitely don't want it because Kwon keeps it to worry about his wife and kids. Although he is aware that his parents want him to start a family soon, Kwon has just asked them to give him some time off because he knows that many of his friends and his wife work long hours and that he will marry them in order to fully satisfy his financial circumstances. The young man's promise, however, will never be fulfilled again because Kwon has destroyed his future after learning that he has a challenging illness. As a result, Kwon has returned to the main character 6 times, once with Lin and numerous times with Gwen. I have no idea where this illness originates. But it must be one of the 3 women. The young man was astonished to learn that Kwon had tested positive for the challenging disease in a blood test conducted as part of the company's routine health check. Even though he was still able to work because of his career, Kwon felt ashamed of his illness and felt that his life was separated from his parents. How could his parents, Kwon's sister, have left the country knowing his true circumstances? Was it too late for that young man to start over?